Hello and welcome. Today we're going to cut through all the noise and confusion and give you a clear, practical guide to breast self-awareness. This is all about feeling empowered with knowledge, so let's jump right in. Okay, first things first, let's tackle the big question right out of the gate. You've probably heard a ton of conflicting advice over the years, right? It can leave you wondering, what am I actually supposed to be doing? So, are those monthly self-exams still the gold standard? Well, the short answer is, things have changed. And you can really see that change right here. The whole mindset has shifted from this rigid, scheduled, routine self-exam to something much more intuitive, breast self-awareness. It's not about passing a test once a month. It's about building a real, ongoing familiarity with your own body. So let's dive into this new recommendation. It's all about choosing awareness over exams. And we're going to break down exactly why major health organizations made this really important shift. So, why the big change? Well, the American Cancer Society points right to the risk of false results. Think about it. A false positive, finding a lump that turns out to be totally harmless, can cause so much unnecessary anxiety and even procedures. But on the other side of that coin, a false negative could give you a false sense of security, maybe causing you to ignore a real issue. The new goal is to reduce both of those risks. So then, what exactly is breast self-awareness? It's really simple. It's just the practice of getting to know what's normal for you. You know, it's kind of like knowing the layout of your own house so well you can walk through it in the dark. The more familiar you are, the faster you'll notice if a piece of furniture is out of place. That's the whole idea. Okay, so how do you actually build that familiarity? Let's get practical. We're going to break it down into a simple 3-step guide. And remember, this is not a test. It's just a tool to help you get to know your body a little better. Step 1 is all about using your eyes. So you'll want to stand in front of a mirror and check things out in 3 different positions. First with your arms down by your sides, then with your arms raised way up high, and finally bending forward from the waist. You're just looking for any changes in shape, size, or skin texture, like any dimpling or anything that looks different about your nipples. All right, next up is the standing check. A lot of people find this is easiest to do in the shower, when your skin is wet and slippery. Using the pads of your 3 middle fingers, you're going to check your entire breast and underarm area. The key here is to use different levels of pressure, light, medium, and then firm, so you can feel the tissue at different depths. And for the final step, you're going to lie down. If you put a small pillow under your shoulder and raise your arm above your head, it helps the breast tissue spread out evenly. That makes it way easier to feel for any changes. You'll just repeat the same finger motions from before and then finish by gently checking for any nipple discharge. Okay, so now you know how to check. The next big question is, what are you actually looking and feeling for? This next part is your guide to potential changes. You want to be aware of any new lump or any area that feels thicker than the rest. Also, just keep an eye out for any big change in the overall shape or size of your breast. And look at the skin. Any dimpling or puckering could be a sign that something's pulling on the tissue from underneath. Just remember, a change doesn't automatically mean something is wrong, but any new or lasting change is definitely worth a chat with your doctor. And hey, don't forget to pay close attention to your nipples too. Is one suddenly turning inward when it didn't before? Are there any new scaly patches or changes in texture, or any unusual discharge? The whole point is to know you're normal so you can easily spot anything that's, well, not normal. And this is a big one that people sometimes forget. Check the surrounding areas. The lymph nodes under your arm and near your collarbone are all part of the same system, so any new lump or swelling in those spots is also something you'll want to take note of. But, and this is really, really important to hear, swollen lymph nodes do not automatically mean cancer. Not at all. They're part of your immune system, so they can swell up for all sorts of reasons, like if you're fighting off an infection or even after you get a vaccine, like the COVID-19 vaccine. The rule of thumb is always the same. If you're ever in doubt, just check it out with a doctor. Okay, we've gone through the how and the what. Now let's put it all together and talk about timing and maybe most importantly, the right perspective to have about this whole process. To really build that awareness, consistency is your best friend. The general recommendation is to check in with your body about once a month. If you menstruate, the absolute best time is a few days after your period ends. That's when your breasts are least likely to be tender or swollen from hormones. If you're postmenopause, just pick a day that's easy to remember, like the first of the month, and stick with it. All of this, the timing, the techniques, it all boils down to one simple, incredibly empowering idea. The goal here isn't to anxiously hunt for problems. The goal is to become the world's leading expert on what's normal for you. You're the one living in your body every single day, after all. And that brings us to our final and maybe most crucial point. We need to be crystal clear about the role of awareness. This is about awareness, not self-diagnosis. Being self-aware is such a powerful tool, but it is not a diagnostic tool. Think of it like a team effort. This practice works alongside professional medical advice and screenings like mammograms. It doesn't replace them. Your awareness is what starts the conversation. Your doctor is the one who provides the diagnosis. So we'll just leave you with this one thought. Absolutely nobody on this planet knows your body better than you do. The only question is, are you taking the time to listen to what it might be telling you?